Oh my gosh, I'm going to get emotional. Didn't plan on that.
Yes, I went to the penitentiary for aggravated arson, attempted murder, and intimidating a witness.
Where do you think you'd be if you didn't have supportive housing?
I'd be back in the penitentiary. I'd have had to do some illegal stuff to help pay the bills. When I got out, I called every landlord I could find. Nobody wanted anything to do with me.
They needed just somebody to believe in her, and I'm so glad that I did.
Chanel was the only one who would take a chance on me, and for that, I'll always be grateful.
But I love my apartment because I never lived by myself like I'm doing now. Never in my life have I had an apartment where I wake up by myself, paying bills, learning how to cook. When I dance, I don't think about being homeless. I don't think about being in prison. I don't think about stealing stuff. All that I think about is happiness and love.
Thank you for allowing us to come into your world because you're going to influence change.
I have referred people that are in the prison system now, and those that don't know about Returning Home Ohio, they do now.
This podcast was so much fun. The guests were amazing, but they had their friends with them, and it just brought a different energy because we're recording this podcast kind of in front of a live audience, and maybe we'll have to do that someday at a homeless conference. Wouldn't that be fun? Before you watch and listen to this podcast, do me a favor, go click on the link in the description or in the show notes. It'll take you to a documentary on prison reentry to supportive housing that we partnered with CSH to produce. And it is an amazing, amazing story that you have to watch and share. And today's guests are featured in the documentary. This podcast will mean so much more if you watch the documentary before you watch or listen to this podcast. It is a powerful interview that was so much fun. I know you're going to love it. I've been looking forward to this because I've met each one of you. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get emotional. Didn't plan on that. I met each one of you once before when we're helping to tell your story from reentry into supportive housing. And each one of you touched me, obviously, personally. And you too, being the landlord. And we're here tonight because the documentary is going to premiere here. And for those of you watching or listening, the documentary will be on Invisible People's YouTube channel. Easy to find. Invisible People on Google. Go watch it. Because Heather's story, Willard's story, Chanel's story, and every story in this documentary is very, very powerful. So I'm glad that you guys were able to take the time, that we could just have a little conversation. So why don't we start? Heather, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I did 11 years in the penitentiary. I initially went to my daughter's, and then Returning Home Ohio helped me find a place with Chanel. And that was great because it helped give me the independence and the joy of just being at home and having that chance.
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful for the program that we're in.
Yeah. And where do you think you'd be if you didn't have supportive housing?
I'd be back in the penitentiary. I'd have had to do some illegal stuff to help pay the bills. Because I couldn't stay with my daughter indefinitely. She has 3 children of her own, and it's too much.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that. They say, why don't your children help you? Or why do your parents help you? And people are struggling. You know, you also don't want to be an inconvenience. And sometimes, you know, they are not able to help their children or whatever. And so it's not so easy going to live with people.
That, and when you're in the penitentiary, you're not around children at all.
Yeah.
So to be away from the kids for over 11 years and then to come back in that environment,
Right.
It is overwhelming, and not just for me, but for the kids too.
Yeah.
because it stresses me out, and then I get snappy, and then.
Yeah.
But this has helped because I get that independent time for myself, and they can come and they can stay and they can visit, and we have happy times now.
Often people don't understand that. I had a friend who did 6 years in Attica. He would just stare at the moon. He would just stare at the sky. And I would ask him about it. Why are you just staring? And he'd say, I didn't have a window for 6 years. I try to remember that. So what was it like getting out and, this whole new world? Because a lot changed in 11 years.
It was scary. I wouldn't open my daughter's door. Even when I moved in with Chanel, it took me over a year to adjust to people coming to my door, to me interacting with other people. I was quiet. I stayed to myself. I didn't have no interactions, didn't go nowhere, didn't do anything. I was forced to do a lot of stuff that I didn't want to do. But it helped open me up and make me ready to face society now.
Yeah. You've been inside. Now you've got a place to live, but all of a sudden you got cameras on you, and that can be really scary. So I greatly appreciate you guys joining us.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
So thank you. And you can tell by your face you mean it. As homelessness grows, people are getting frustrated and they're pushing for laws that criminalize homelessness, which will only make the problem worse. Invisible People reaches more people, educating them on homelessness than all other homeless sector nonprofits and campaigns combined. But we do it on a limited budget. We don't have the funding they do. We are mostly funded by individual donations. And now that the economy is struggling, individual donations are disappearing, and we need you. I get it. You might not have the money to donate. Many people are struggling right now. Please share our content, share our videos. It really matters. And if you do have some funds and want to help be part of the solution to solve homelessness, please visit invisiblepeople.tv/donate. Our important work stops without you. And you are so dressed up.
And I'm not scared or terrified either.
You're not scared or terrified?
I love camera.
And I bet you do. And if you look at the documentary, we can't do this in a podcast, but there's a scene where you're dancing on your balcony.
Yeah, I'd like to be a star.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what we weren't able to show in the documentary, just because of time, right? Sometimes you just have to cut stuff out, is that you dance on your balcony and people drive by and take pictures of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that landlord was outside and shared how wonderful of a tenant you are. And she said, and look he's a great dancer.
Yeah, I am. I'm not ashamed of it. I normally tell everybody there's only two people that can outdance me. That's James Brown and Michael Jackson.
I need to see
Nobody
this.
else. Nobody else.
Yeah. And for those of you who are listening or watching, it might sound like we have a laugh track, but you guys brought an entourage. So the next progression of this is we're going to have to start doing live podcasts at events. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, my name is Willard Hardy. People call me Snake, and I got that name from since I was about 12 years old on the basketball court. I did 7 years in the penitentiary. I did countless of years in the jail, but jail and penitentiary, two different stories, two different homes. I've been out since 2021, and then I got a place called Falcon Ridge. I've been there since 2021, going on almost 4 years. I didn't think I would even still have an apartment because I'm so used to giving up on stuff that's going good for me. When it's stuff going good, I think it's something to it. It's not going to work. But so far, it's working out pretty good. And I'm glad I finally got, I guess it's freedom, you know. I'm still learning how to cook. I'll be 67 in September. Not really that used to cooking by myself. I always want somebody to cook for me. I get a girlfriend, Every time I get a girlfriend, I get in trouble.
Yeah. Well, you were homeless for most of your life.
Oh, yeah, I was homeless for about 20 years, believe it or not. When my mother died, I just gave up on everything.
Yeah. One of my favorite moments in the film was you showing me your photos. And you have a photo back in the disco days.
Yeah.
And you got a grip. A grip of cash.
Yeah.
Back in the days. I haven't even thought of that,
That was way back in the 70s. I was coming from one of my discos from either seeing the OJs or Temptations or somebody like that.
Yeah.
And I love to go to concerts.
Yeah. One of the things that I wish we could have done, but to license the music is more money than we have. Because I think you were dancing to Marvin Gaye that day.
Yeah, Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. And I wish, so when people watch the documentary, get a Marvin Gaye song in your head.
Yeah.
And then, check out your dancing moves.
Yeah, because when I told Miss Sharita and my other friend over there that when I dance, it takes away from all my bad decisions and all my bad choices that I done made. And when I dance, I don't think about none of that crap.
Yeah.
I don't think about being homeless. I don't think about being in prison. I don't think about stealing stuff. I don't think about sleeping up under the bridges. All that I think about is happiness and love. And even country songs, I would tell you, if you listen to the words, it's all about peace and love and happiness. And that's all I try to strive for.
Yeah. And I want to introduce Chanel, who's Heather's landlord, which I think is just a gorgeous part of this conversation. But to do that, Heather, can you talk a little bit about why you went inside? Because I think it adds to the story here.
Yes, I went to the penitentiary for aggravated arson, attempted murder, and intimidating a witness.
Yeah.
And it took a lot. When I got out, I called every landlord I could find. Nobody wanted anything to do with me. Chanel was the only one who would take a chance on me. And for that, I'll always be grateful.
And Chanel, your landlord, taking a chance on, from my understanding, one of the hardest tenants to lease an apartment or a home is somebody who's coming out from having arson in their past.
Absolutely.
And you took a chance.
I took that chance.
And it's working out.
And it worked out, and we're still connected to this day. I'm forever grateful for the program, honestly, from what they have helped me and supported me, and they saw what type of person I was and what type of person she was. It took me 4 to 5 business days to give them an answer of, hey, we're just following up with you. Can you please take her on? Can you just think about this? And just listening to them, I can tell that they needed just somebody to believe in her, and I'm so glad that I did.
And tell me about the Returning Home Ohio, the program. How do you, as a landlord, get assistance?
Oh my goodness, the assistance, just the support. I'm just a one-person show. I'm not a big, huge management company that has 500 units, and I needed that type of support. They listened to me. I can't take on certain kind of clients, like I didn't want any sex offenders. They were like, that's fine. We'll definitely take that off the list. I feel like I have a built-in management company. If I ever have any problems, I'm calling one of them. Hey, we have the neighbors are calling, or the police are knocking on the door. I can call them, and I have that barrier to have my back if needed to be. Nothing's ever happened like that. I'm very blessed and lucky. But
and it's a management company that you don't have to pay for.
It's a management company I don't have to pay for.
And when you see the documentary, I'd say that same line to you.
Absolutely.
So
their support is everything. And I just a little bit of my background is I've been doing this for 8 years. I've worked with mental health, drug abuse, homelessness, a couple years here with a program, a couple years there with a program. And a program I was working with the homeless, they stop their program. And that case manager that I was working with actually referred me to you guys. And I had called, and Heather was their first client to me. So I was just like, oh my goodness, I don't even know if this is going to work out anymore. I was going to sell everything and be done. But no, that's even where I even came from, just out of the wind.
There's 3 landlords that we talked to. Yours was by accident. She was just watching you dance. So I asked her if she would be in the film, and she agreed. But there was a corporate real estate, and it really shows the difference, because you're, I don't want to say a small time real estate,
As
but
a private landlord,
yeah,
I would
you're
say.
just right,
Private, small.
And what he said is, you have all these buildings, right? And we need to, rehab them. And then I have 10, 20 openings. I can call and they'll help me fill them up right away. And he says, I have less trouble with the tenants from returning home than I do from market rate tenants.
That's right. Absolutely. I want to say, with working with the program, my retention rate, my turnover rate is very, very low. I like stability. Some don't. They like that turnover, every 2 weeks, 3 months to get somebody in. I like stability.
Why would a landlord want the...
To keep the turnover rates? It's the deposits. It just keeps it filled up. I don't know why they like that. It's not for me.
That would be a little crazy. I know you can, at least in Los Angeles, one of the ways of raising the rent, especially if it's rent control, is when there's a turnover.
Yep, they raise the rent at that time. They bring in people, get, first month, last month deposit. I mean, that's fine. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But for me, smaller companies, I like somebody to stay with me for as long as they want.
Yeah, and it must feel, because you guys have, become friends. I mean, this is like, I don't want to say the odd couple. And that's just because of my generation, right? There was a television show, those that are my age that called The Odd Couple. But you have a landlord and a tenant, and, you've become friends. And that's pretty amazing. How does that make you feel?
Great. It really does. She was the only one that took that chance on me. So over time, it developed, especially with, I think the icebreaker were the kids.
Yes, I bring my kids with me all the time. I feel like I didn't tell a big chunk of my life story in there because I wanted to make sure I focused on the program and Heather, but absolutely. Let's just take this back 8 years. It was me and my kid's dad. He had passed away in 2021, and we were doing the group homes at the time. We were probably in about a year and a half, and he had passed, and I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I need to stay home with these kids, and I'm going to continue to build what we were already doing. So bought the house and still had the other ones, sold them though. And yeah, I'm just so grateful and thankful that we had built a platform and then continued to do it. And so I had some pretty thick skin just from previous. So I said, well, she can't be that bad from what I used to have before with, mental health and domestic violence and stuff. So it took about 8 months for us to really build a relationship. I mean, I would check on her. Oh, I was calling, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? Is the house okay? She would just keep it really short, and I don't hear any issues, and we're fine.
I assume you brought the kids over, and that started the bonding. You wanted...
Yeah, it did, because my grandkids were about the same age as her 2 older kids. So we would start to talk about them, and I spoil kids. I do. The neighbor kids would come over. They clean my yard for popsicles, potato chips. Her kids come over. Can they have this? Can they have that? And I would spoil them just like I would treat my grandkids. Right. And it just led into conversation. It led into, okay, my daughter's got some clothes that don't fit her kids anymore. Do you want them for yours? We got a trampoline here. I don't have none of the kids here. Do you want to take it home so your kids can jump on it?
I have that trampoline too.
Wow. Awesome.
So it just led into a friendship, and it started with the kids and just developed between Chanel and I. And I love her to death.
Yeah. Can you talk again, because you talk in the film about how, people just look down on you when you're homeless?
When I was homeless, at that time, my mother had died. I didn't know where my father was. I know he was out there doing something. I never, for some reason, my mother and my father separated when I was a little boy. So when I came home, when my mother died, I just kind of gave up on life. I didn't care about nobody, you know.
Life experiences kind of influenced
Well,
you wanting to give up.
Well, it hurt so much because my mother looked up to me so much because I'm the youngest boy in the family, and I did everything, you know, for keeping a job and help my mother any way that I probably can. And one day I asked my mama if I could get my diploma, would she be disappointed? And she said, no, you're going to be my son whether you get a diploma or not. And that made me feel like, okay, I'm still going to be okay. But then when she died, I felt like there ain't no more, ain't no more use for me to try to do good. My mom's gone. My dad was already nowhere to be found. Plus, I always call myself a follower, where I do what other people do. So if you're doing something wrong, even though I know it's wrong, I'm gonna do it because I'm a follower. I'm gonna be, you know.
It's the crowd you're hanging out
right,
with.
you know. And then that led to the reason why I went to prison. They tried me with felonious assault and abduction. And when I came out and tried to get a place to stay, I couldn't find about two or three of the first places turned me down because of my record. They didn't want to take a chance.
Yeah.
And then finally, Mr. Rita Stradner, I guess they knew about it and got me a place.
Yeah. One of the things that you said in the documentary is, and we kept on hearing it from everybody we interviewed, a couple of things is, one, that you're not even going to know that one of your neighbors was formerly incarcerated. They just blend in. And two, that once you get out, you want to keep it. You don't want to go back in. So you become good tenants. You become good neighbors.
Yeah.
And you're talking about how much you love your apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at the smile on your face now.
Yeah,
you love your apartment.
I love my apartment because I had a couple apartments in the past, but I never lived by myself like I'm doing now. Never in my life have I had an apartment where I wake up by myself, paying bills, learning how to cook, and just being a single, not just a single black man, but a single man, period.
Yeah.
I never lived like this, and so that's still rough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I wake up like, what the hell I'm going to do now? You know, when other time when I had an apartment, I was doing drugs and had a house full of people, everybody do drugs and stealing.
And you don't want that again.
No. I can't afford to live that fast life and that crazy life and that wrong life no more.
Yeah.
You know, that's just not. And then plus, I'm a babysitter now. So I babysit my niece and nephew. They only 5 and 6, and they tear my apartment up. But hell is better than me tearing it up or having the people on the street come and tear it up. So
kids they're just kids. They're not really tearing it up.
Well, it's just a mess. I just clean up the next day. I try to scare them with the belt. They just laugh at me. And, you know,
They're keeping you young.
Yeah.
I mean, they like to run. That's all they do is run. Don't they ever get tired?
Nope.
That's all they do is run. So right now, my life is more like my job is really just be a babysitter.
Yeah.
And in a way, I'm glad of that because I told them, I said, when y'all get 19, 20, y'all take care of me because I'm going to be a whole lot older and I ain't going to be able to do stuff that I'm doing now. So I told them, don't you forget that when you get out of high school, you be taking care of me.
Yeah.
So in a sense, I'm really happy that I do got 2 little nephews. I got a lot of nieces and nephews, but these are the 2 youngest.
Yeah.
The youngest that I got is the 2 that I watched.
Yeah, great.
And I'm trying to teach them what not to do and what to do.
Now, if I remember right, you're taking care of your mom.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a big change.
Yeah, and I was working a job for a while, too. But my mom fell, and she broke the lower lumbar.
I'm so sorry.
And fractured her rib. So she is in a facility right now trying to build her strength up to come back home.
And you're going to school now.
Yeah. Southern New Hampshire University. I'm still in school. And I decided my getaway was to work at Subway for a little while. And what other way to get away is to make money and get out of the house, too.
It can be really scary. I know for me, I was living in a homeless shelter, and I was like, oh my God, there's got to be something. There's got to be something to help us. I found the State Department of Rehabilitation in California would pay for you to go to community college. And I'm like, it gets me out of the homeless shelter. I've never been to college. This is going to be great. But, I'm 37 years old at the time, and people going to community college are 19, 20 or whatever. So when I remember walking onto the campus the first day, like, oh, this is great. Wow, so cool. And then the fear came over me. And then I started beating myself up because I was looking at myself as being an old man and all the kids around me, right? And I was saying, oh gosh, I messed up my life. You know how we do that to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about it because the kids were all partying and I took it serious. And I said, that's why I'm coming late in life, because I'm going to pay attention, you know what I mean? And so there was some advantages, and then I tried to focus on that.
Yeah, I have that going for me. Is I do it because I'm an example to my grandkids and to my kids that it doesn't matter what age you are, because I'm 52. I'll be 53 in October, and I went back to school. So you can do it at any age.
Yeah.
So that has been a big deal for me. That, and plus I needed to prove to myself that I could do it.
Well, it gives you self-esteem because, I did 4 overnighters. I didn't do any time, but I was homeless for a long time. And, you beat yourself up so much and your self-esteem and your self-worth. So having an apartment, being able to take care of your mom, getting a job, going to school, it helps you rebuild your inner self. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that, and then the support that you have from the people you work with at RHO, the support I have from Chanel.
Yeah.
And then I've got other family that's coming back into my life that have been out of my life. And so it's just, it's been good. It really has.
It took me years. I mean, it's still a process to reunite with family, because they didn't trust me for many, many years. For good reason, I mean, I was a knucklehead, and, so for good reason. As a landlord, what would you say to other landlords? Because, Heather was an arsonist.
It's not as scary as it may seem because I do have a huge network of landlords. I should say
she did time for, because there's a whole backstory there, and
right.
She wasn't an arsonist. So I just want to clarify that.
I mean, the average landlord is just going to look at a piece of paper and see that on the application, but not really get to know them. For me, it's definitely the program, because I have worked with 2 other programs, and the support that they give them, I felt like, oh, I'm going to get a little support too. And it makes a world of difference. Landlords, it's not as frightening as it is, especially when you have a backup system. It makes a world of difference. And getting to know the tenant, I think I talked to her maybe on the phone once before I even approved her, just to get to know, how she sounds, how she moves. She told me her story about she's living with her daughter and her grandkids, and she wants to just have a place that she can call her own and have some peace. And so I was like, okay, we'll try this out.
And, here's the reality is that, programs like RHO, Returning Home Ohio, are very important, not just to Heather. They help reduce recidivism and homelessness, which means RHO, Returning Home Ohio, benefits the public. It doesn't just benefit the clients or the landlords.
Right.
It benefits the community, which is why we need more.
Absolutely. I have some landlords right now that have vacants for months, and I'm like, just take one, just try it. You can do one client and see how you like it. There's a lot of benefits just, besides getting rent on time, and, you kind of got a built-in management system, but your places are always filled up. Yeah. I've had help with cleanups. I've had help with just little maintenance around the house. I mean, it really is a support system where I'm not feeling like I'm on my own.
Yeah. Any last words?
I just wanted to say that my landlord, when she told me that it's a blessing and that she was so happy that a person like me is willing to come and live. She been there for almost 15 years, and she know who's some of the people that does drugs and stuff. And she said, I can show a prime example that you can be better and turn it around. And by me being there, it's a blessing. It makes her want to trust what I do. And it's just something that she sees in me that I didn't think somebody like that would do.
Yeah.
You know, and I try. So it's really shocking how good that made me feel about something. I don't have people come to me and tell me it's a blessing for me to be around them.
Yeah.
And for her to be a white woman and tell me something like that, I mean, it's like, you know what I'm
And
trying
she's
to say?
genuine.
Yeah.
So for those of you watching and listening, go watch the documentary.
It just made me feel to a point where now I can start striving a lot better. Now I can show people that you can come back. You just take your time, and when you fall, just get on back up and just keep going.
Keep going.
Even though it's kind of hard for me sometimes, but that's what I try to keep stuck in my head, that I can still do that. I don't have to give up because I'm getting older and older and older. I don't have to give up. Somebody told me it's a blessing to get older, so I should be proud and take it like, yeah, keep getting older, keep getting older. Because I be scared to get older. I'm like, I won't get old, I won't get old. But my doctor keep telling me, Mr. Hardy, you're getting older. And I'd be like, why are you telling me that? Because I need to face the fact that I'm getting 3 more years, I'll be 70.
I'm 64. I'm feeling what you're saying.
Yeah, they tell me that time goes fast. You're going to be 70 before you know it. You need to understand this. And everybody keep telling me, to keep reminding me that I'm not getting younger, I'm getting older. And I need, because sometimes I just don't want to deal with my age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to stay young, but of course that's not going to happen. Yeah. You should be proud that you're getting older.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
I just thought of it. It's kind of like a warm up for the panel tonight, because tonight you guys are going to be in front of hundreds of people. Did you think about that? Oh, Heather's eyes just went bam. Last words?
I have referred people that are in the prison system now that I talk to, because I still talk to a lot of people that are in the penitentiary. And those that don't know about Returning Home Ohio and Faith Mission, they do now.
Yeah.
So I've talked to them and told them about the program and told them when they get out, that's something that they need to check into.
And we hopefully, part of the reason that we're doing the documentary and these podcasts is that other states will implement similar programs, because it's only in Ohio right now. And it just makes perfect sense because, as I said, it helps the public. It helps people re-entering back in. I mean, probably one of the leading causes of homelessness is people coming from an institution. And if you look at what that institution is, it's jails and prison. People entering into homelessness. And we've got to stop that pipeline. And Returning Home Ohio multiplied or duplicated, or however you want to say, in different states will do that and actually save taxpayer money.
In this economy,
and if I can, I would just like to add on that even though prison is a bad place to be, you really don't want to be there. But in my situation, when I got to prison, they got so many things that you can do to turn your life around for when you get out if you accept the classes that they got. See, I took all classes. They got all kinds of stuff for you to better yourself before you get out if you choose to do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's a rotten place to be in prison, they got the education there for you to get involved and be different when you come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally know what you mean. I was trying to, as we were talking, I'm trying to think why I got emotional at the beginning, because that's never happened. And for me, we pride ourselves on being able to tell an authentic story. And just being able to tell your guys' story in an authentic way that's true to you, but also, helps. When I sat down and I looked at you, it's just like, just overwhelming. So I just want to thank you for joining me in this conversation. Thank you for allowing us to come into your world, which is, not necessarily easy for anybody, but you guys are opening up about your past, but you've changed, so you have a different future. And I just am really grateful that you're allowing people to look in, because you're going to influence change. And I really believe that. This is a powerful documentary. I can't wait for you guys to see it tonight. And for those of you watching and listening, it's already going to be live. So go to YouTube, type in Invisible People Returning Home, and share it with all your friends.
Amen.
Thank you.